Today I want to show you how I crochet my Adirondack winter hat. The supplies that I use are this Yarn Inspirations Bernat blanket yarn. What I like about this is that it is machine wash and dry. So these hats can be machine wash and dried. The leather doesn't work out so great, but it's okay. It doesn't really ruin it. The pom-poms that I put on the top have a snap, so they can be removed. And you can wash it without the pom-pom and you don't ruin it, because the pom-poms are real fur. Later on, when I add the leather label, that'll be another video on how I make those. But later on, when I add the leather label and when I add the pom-pom, I'll be using a faux sinew thread, which is a cotton, waxed cotton, and of course my needle, and then I just sew those things on. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to get started with the Adirondack crochet hat. Leave a little bit of a tail, create your starting loop, and we're going to just crochet 25 chains. 25 chain stitches. Now we're going to single crochet in 24 of those chains across. So 24 across, chain 1, and now we're going to turn our work. But what we're going to do to create the ridge stitch is we're now going to crochet only in the back loop of each stitch. So if we look at this, we could see a complete stitch is 2 right here. This would be 2. But what we're going to do is we're only going to go in the back loop, take the 1. So we're just going to single crochet across, just going in the back loop only of each stitch. And we're going to do this for every row across. So it's 24 single crochets in the back part of each stitch across, the back loop of each stitch across. And that is what's going to create our ridge look to the hat. Now you could make the hat longer or shorter, so more of a slouch if it's longer, or more of a tighter fit if it's shorter, by either adding or taking away stitches. You want a longer slouch hat, you might want to go to like 27 or 28 stitches. If you want a no slouch, a tighter fitting hat, you can go to 22 or 23 stitches. So I'm right in between with this one for 25. So it's kind of like a medium slouch hat. It gives a little extra room for people who have a lot of hair. So again, I chained 1, turned my work, and now I'm crocheting single crochets in the back loop of each stitch all the way across. So I'm currently on my 3rd row. When I sit down and I crochet this hat at night, like while I'm watching TV, I can literally finish one in under an hour. So that's why I like this hat so much. It's so nice and warm and fuzzy in the really cold Adirondack winters, but it's also nice and easy to sit and create, you know, at night while I'm relaxing. Now I'm on row 18. And it took me about 20 minutes to crochet these 18 rows, and that's while I'm talking and explaining. So you can see how this is a hat that's easily completed in under an hour. The actual crochet part takes maybe 40 minutes or less to crochet. And then that leaves me 20 minutes to seam it and cinch the top and add the decorative pom-pom and the little leather tag that I like to put on. Quick and easy, super simple. I'd say beginner crocheters could even do this. Might take them a little bit longer, but once they get used to it, I think they could be really successful and whip right through it. We need to end on the opposite end of where this tail is. Because when we sew it together, I want both of these little tails that we left hanging to be at the same spot. And last row. Okay, done. So I'm gonna cut it, leaving about a 3.5 foot long tail. And now I'm going to take my yarn needle, thread the thread through the yarn needle a little bit, and I'm going to sew down that whole side until I reach the other end. So I'm just going to do a little overhand stitch, really simple, just getting a little bit, one little stitch on each side and pulling through. Now I don't want to pull too tight, but I also don't want to leave it loose. Just want it nice and snug. Nice and snug, and you shouldn't even see it or know it's there unless you really look hard for it. It should not be easy to spot. So you work your way down to the end. Okay, when you reach the end, you see you have both little tails here now. I just want to take it and tie a knot, just for added security so it doesn't unravel or pull out. And now I'm going to take this, I'm going to tuck that one in, and now I'm going to go around the top and cinch the top closed so it's the top of the hat. So starting here, you can see exactly where I'm going to go. Every time it dips, there's a little bit of a gap that you can see. That is where I'm going to put those stitches in and pull it tight together. So over and pull, over and pull, over, pull tight until you're right back where you started. Now, when you get to that point, you might see that there's a little bit of a hole in the top of the hat. So I just do a quick cross and pull again. Cross straight across from one side to the other and pull that, and it closes up the hole. And then I do from this side to the other side one more time, again, to close the hole in a crisscross. Now we're going to be putting a snap pom-pom on here, so it's really not that big of a deal, but I just like to really secure it. Now I just insert my needle into the center of the hat, pull it completely through, inside out the hat, and now you see I have my two tails. Now if I were sewing on a pom-pom, I would use what's left of these two threads to sew the pom-pom on, and then I would tie them like I'm about to do right now and snip them off. But since I'm going to be putting on a snap pom-pom, I'm just going to tie these two pieces together in a knot by hand, nice and snug, and then use the scissors and cut them off. And there is our finished hat. That's the top. Comes together really nice. Fold up the edges, and there's our hat, completely done in under an hour. Now we'll put on the Snap Authentic Real Fur pom-pom, and we'll add the little leather tag, and we'll be done. This is a real raccoon fur pom-pom, and it comes with a snap. I buy these from Amazon, and this way when you want to wash the hat, you can remove the pom-pom so it doesn't get ruined. So I'm just going to sew this on to the top of the hat that I finished quickly. So I use this faux cotton thread. It's waxed. I just really like it. It's very strong. I thread the needle and I double it up. So I simply come up through the top of the hat, keep it centered, and I just go up and down once around. Keep making sure that it's in the center because it does like to move a tad. And now what I'll do is to knot it, go right back to the original knot and kind of knot to that one a little bit too, so it makes it a little more secure. And snap. And there's the Nice hat. Now, the last thing left to do is the labels. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how I sew on the tag that I made. This is the little Adirondack tag. Make sure that when you're sewing the tag on, you find the seam where you sewed up the hat. It's hard to find, but once you figure out where it is, you could just make sure that's on the back. And I always try to put the tag on the front. I always put it off to the side a little bit. I have my faux waxed cotton thread, about a 10-inch piece, doubled up on the needle. No need to knot it, because I simply come through one of the punched holes, don't pull it all the way, and then go back through the other top punched hole so that you have the one stitch. And then I simply cut off the needle and tie it by hand. I use a square knot and clip off the little extra ends. So that's one side done. Cut another piece, thread it on the needle, and there is a completed Adirondack hat, the crocheted hat, the leather stamped tag, and an authentic raccoon fur pom-pom on top. Here's the other one I've made. So I have two of them here. They're super warm and super cozy and super comfy to wear outside on a cold Adirondack winter day. And it does get cold. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. And I wish you a safe, happy, and healthy new year.